one of the most infamous and controversial bands in the world. W.A.S.P, the 40th Never Stops World Tour with special guest, Armored Saint. W.A.S.P live. Go to waspnation.com for tour details and tickets. W.A.S.P, feel the sting.
Welcome. We bid you welcome. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, along with my co-captain on this series we have called W.A.S.P Wednesday. John, the Music Nut. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, brother.
Oh, man. We got through the catalog, and now the moment everybody maybe has been waiting for, the countdown. And no, I'm not going to start going into Europe. No. So how are we going to rank these things? Now we're just going to do the studio albums. We're not going to do the, we could probably say what are the 3 live albums if we really want to get carried away, but we can do that separately. We are not including Re-Idolized in this.
Right.
We're just going to make that conscious decision on that. So this should be maybe controversial, maybe not. I don't know about John, but basically, I know we kind of, at the end, we usually kind of give a number out of 10 rankings on all these albums. And I have to be honest, I basically threw all mine out the window and reevaluated a lot of this list. So I don't know about John, but my list is probably might upset some of you out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it up 5 and 5. And we'll kind of go from there. So, John, the Music Nut, let's hear your. I don't like 15 to 11. Yeah, and I want to just say this as a caveat. For me, I don't think that there's a bad album in the bunch. You know.
Yeah.
All that being said, this and trust me, I think I speak for both of us. This was difficult. This was difficult, especially for me.
It certainly was. It certainly was. I was saying to John off air, the middle of this catalog, there is so little separating them on my list. Like from 4 to 9 or 10, maybe 9.
Yeah.
There's very little separating these.
Yep. So I wanted to throw that as just to begin this, just so everybody knows this is a very difficult thing. We truly do love this catalog.
We do.
There's just some things we're probably just reaching for before others. So go ahead, John. Let's hear your 15 to 11.
All right, thank you so much, John. This album I will know for the rest of my life as the one I got a speeding ticket to. And it's KFD.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is just, maybe someday I'll appreciate it more, but the sound on here is just so all-consuming and just braces you in, but in my opinion, not in the best way. There are songs on here I do like Kill Ahead, title track, the song I got pulled over to, and of course, the horror. So there's my number 15. Again, I don't dislike this album, but it is my least favorite. Now, my number 14, this is one I had to reshuffle, and upon further listings, upon further review, my number 14 is Eldorado. The reason being that it's just too much of going back into their 80s sound and trying to be as controversial as they were then. It's a half-hearted effort, although I do love Damnation Angels to death and High on the Flames, but this is my number 14, Eldorado. Right. Number 13, now this one might go back up in the rankings again, but this is The Neon God Part 2. This album, I think, was just, I thought Neon God 1 was wonderful. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Part 2, I thought, was just a little bit too much. There are songs like Come Back to Black has really grown on me since we did the show on this album. and I certainly like Clockwork Mary and Resurrector as well. But that's my number 13. Still a good album. The Neon God Part 2. Number 12. Okay, this is an album that John and I haven't, it was probably the first of their albums that was a bit of a disappointment. And it is their third album. It's an album that Blackie said is an album by a tired band, and it's Inside the Electric Circus. Now, title track, killer. Okay, 9-5 Nasty, great. Restless Gypsy, I'm Alive, both outstanding tracks. The rest of the songs, not so much. I mean, but it's still an album I can go back and enjoy. It's Inside the Electric Circus, which was their third proper LP. That's at number 12. Number 11. Now, this is their most recent album, and this is Golgotha. Now, not to say the fact that it's 11 doesn't mean I don't like this album. I really like Fallen Under a lot. Ditto with Hero of the World. I love Shotgun. Miss You is a fantastic ballad. This is a strong album. And like from here, this is where it starts to get hard. And Golgotha is my number 11. So there you go with mine.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. There we go. Well, shots fired. Now it's time to set the nuclear bomb off. All right. So for my number 15, for me, it's going to be Eldorado.
Okay. I'm going to write this down as I do these, by the way.
Yeah, probably should have done that with yours too. But yeah, for me, Eldorado, it's just one I just don't reach for very often anymore. As we've already talked about, Damnation Angels is probably the stellar track on this. I personally I like Eldorado, the title track, and I was also into Can't Die Tonight. Those would have been my favorites from the album. It just, I don't know. To me, it was just a step backwards. And yes. After he progressed so well from Headless to Crimson Idol to Still Not Black Enough, and then kind of regressing back a little bit, I just didn't. It's okay. I like it, but it's just not one I reach for. Now, this is one that will probably anger all of the early fans. Inside the Electric Circus is going to be my next one. That is not to say that I don't love this album. I do. I really do. And I have loved this album since 1986 when it came out. It just hasn't aged well. For me, it will always be Restless Gypsy. I'm Alive. The cover of Easy Living. To me, have always been my standout tracks. Of course, I love Inside the title track. I like, the Rock Rolls Forever On. I think I kind of stole a little bit for one of my own songs, but really, for the most part, this album just hasn't aged well, and it's you can hear it. And I know for all the fans who love the Chris Holmes, Johnny Rod, Steve Riley era, they wish they would all kiss and make up and get back together again. Well, I do too, but not with this album. I just doesn't do it for me anymore. Next one, KFD. Had this been about 25 years ago, it would probably been a little higher because of the history I have with this album. But the history is kind of what takes me down a little bit. It just takes me to a dark place that I don't like going to too much. That all being said, I still love My Tortured Eyes. I still like the horror, as gruesome as that is, and I still think Kill Your Pretty Face is just epic with that banshee scream. You just get so many vibes of the end when you're listening to this whole song, but it's still a solid record. But again, my history with it tends to take me away from it a little while. Now here comes the real atom bombs. Last Command.
Whoa! Ho, ho, ho!
Now, here again, we're getting to an area where we're basically just throwing them up in the air, and however they land, that's how they're going to happen. Now, again, don't get me wrong, people. I love The Last Command. I've loved this one since 1985 when I got it, when I first got it originally. Again, there are some songs that just don't age well. It didn't age well for me. I've not been I like Wild Child. I like Widowmaker. And I like Cries in the Night. Of course, I like Blind in Texas. I think the second side is a little stronger, save for Sex Drive. But really, side one is not really didn't age all that well, other than Wild Child and Widowmaker. So that's kind of really what took it down for me. So sorry, folks. I know y'all are gonna hate me for this one, but Last Command it is at number 12. My number 11, Neon God, The Demise. Really, I kind of want to lump these two together.
Right.
But there is something to be said about the way the story was constructed in part one, as opposed to part two, where you're just getting a lot of the story shoved in a lot of songs and not as much story, but shoved into a lot of songs. But that being said, I still love Never Say Die. I love The Last Redemption, and I love Come Back to Black. Those songs would probably be my favorites of this one. But okay, now that I got Hiroshima and Nagasaki out of the way.
But again, like you said, there's very little separating the middle of the pack here. It really is. So I could kind of see where you're going with Last Command, but I mean, anybody were to read the list at first, they'd be like, "What?" But we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah,
okay? We'll see how that goes. All right, so that album will be mentioned in my next 5. I will tell you that. It's
okay.
not top of the line W.A.S.P for me either. All right, so number 10 is Still Not Black Enough.
Okay.
Okay, I do like this album a lot. I love Black Forever. I love Goodbye America. Keep Holding On, I think, is a standout track. Only thing that holds me back a little bit, you got 3 ballads on here, and I know Blackie sings a ballad like nobody's business, but I think 3 is too much. Couple other songs on here like I Can't, I'm not really into too much, but I mean, I do like this album quite a bit. That's my number 10. Still Not Black Enough. Now, number 9, another album I really like a lot, and it's Dominator. Heavens Hung in Black is fantastic. How fantastic is it? Check out his show on Peter Kerr's channel, Rock Daydream Nation, in the near future, where we do our top 5 overlooked epics. And I give this song some love. Just let you all know. Spoiler alert, all our friends out there. Okay. And I love Long, Long Way to Go. I love Burning Man. Mercy, I think, is a strong opener. This is a very good album. And it's my number 9. Number 8. Now, in one day, it may go up to 7. It's Babylon. And I love this album quite a bit. This album, really took me in. I haven't had a lot of time with it, but Babylon is a wonderful album. My favorite song's Crazy, which I think they should open shows with to this day. I mean, open with Crazy, go into Electric Circus, and then we go to the races, right?
Yep.
Love Crazy, love Live to Die Another Day, love Godless Run. A lot of songs on here I really dig. That's my number 8. My number 7, this will be one of 2 cassettes I will show because I gotta pick the CDs up yet, and it's Last Command at number 7. And of course, that's right. So this is what we bought in 1985. Okay. So like John, it hasn't aged as well for me, but I love Blind in Texas. I love Wild Child. I love Fistful of Diamonds. Cries in the Night is great, but yeah, there's some other songs like Ball Crusher, Sex Drive. I don't need to hear those ever again. but the fact that I have a lot of time with it, and I think Blinded Texas is just a wonderful story song. It still brings me a lot of joy to hear it. Uh, that's my number 7. And lyrics may be considered offensive by some audiences.
Yep.
There, that is my number 7 and my number 6. And I think a lot of Wasp fans would say this is when they had their second life as a band, when they really got strong again. And that's on Unholy Terror from 2001. This is a killer record.
Yeah.
Killer. I love Hate to Love Me, love Locomotive Man, love Raven Heart. I mean, there's so much. Let It Roar is a strong opener. Wasted White Boys. You can't go wrong. I mean, this is a good album to really start out with, too. I mean, Unholy Terror is a killer record, and it's my number 6.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. All right. So here we go. So with my number 10, yeah, I'm actually gonna put Neon God the Rise. You know, I really feel like I want to put these two together and make them one big album. But gosh, what would be my favorites from this one? Sister Sadie and the Black Habits. I mean, that's just an absolute banger. Ecstasy Riders is another banger, absolute great song. Raging Storm and What I'll Never Find, Someone to Love. I mean, all the little things, Wishing Well. I mean, there's just so many good songs on just little bits and pieces of stuff, but just great songs, great album, great story, very deep story. Makes me want to investigate them more, and they may go up a little bit more. All right, number 9, Babylon, and this is one I've had so much time with because I, as I alluded to, I had gotten this when it came out, and I just just was so overjoyed at hearing the hashtag Happy Blackie.
Yeah.
So gosh, I mean, Crazy, Live to Die Another Day, Seas of Fire. I love that pulsing rhythm. Godless Run is also classic. And we can't not forget about talking about their cover of Burn, Deep Purple's Burn on this, which is really, really good. Babylon's Burning is also really good. I wanted to do a parody for the forest fires up in Canada and say Canada's burning, but no, didn't go there. Anyway, Babylon, that would be my number 8, or number 9 rather. Number 8, and this may go back up again. But because I have so much history again with this one, Still Not Black Enough. Okay. So here again, it's just I love No Way Out of Here. That is always,
oh yes,
that's probably my favorite track off the album. But at the same time, I love the ballad Keep Holding On. It just brings tears to my eyes sometimes. Scared to Death. I love that when, especially in the chorus, when you get that "Gimme Shelter," like, female background singing. Black Forever is good. Goodbye America. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on here. Let's see, number 7. Let's go, Dominator. Okay. Again, hey, there's not much to say that my co-captain hasn't already said. Mercy, Heaven's Hung in Black, Long Way to Go, Teacher, Heaven's Pie, yeah. Take Me Up. I mean, yeah, just, it's great. I mean, again, when you're getting up into this, you're really getting into the meat and potatoes of what Blackie's really getting to be all about. Yes. The way he's been in the last 20-25 years or so. So you really get an appreciation for how much he has grown as a writer. And I think as I think you will find, it's come to be how much I probably have grown as a person and how much I relate more to this stuff and maybe not so much of the early stuff. So with that said, my number 6 is also Unholy Terror.
Nice.
Good Lord. Hate to Love Me and Let It Roar. Hate to Love Me. My God. Let It Roar. Absolutely wonderful charisma. Raven Heart. You know, Locomotive Man. I mean, again, stellar album, absolutely stellar from beginning to end. That would be my number 6.
All right. Excellent.
All right. Have we lost any viewers out there yet? All right. Let's go. Let's get to the cream of the crop, as we would say.
All right. My number 5 is Neon God Part 1. I
Okay.
really dig this album.
Yeah.
I love Sister Sadie and the Black Habits, just like you do. I love What I'll Never Find. That's the ballad. That's wonderful. I love Asylum Number 9.
Oh, yes.
That's a
Absolutely.
killer track.
Oh, killer track.
Excellent. But yeah, this album flows very well. I really dig this album a lot. I'm going to continue to enjoy this one for years to come.
Yep.
My number 4 is Dying for the Worlds. This is a statement. This is fantastic. Oh gosh, it's very hard to pick your favorites here. Mine, My Wicked Heart, Hollow Ground is fantastic. Trail of Tears, Revengeance. This whole album is excellent. Love this album to death. My number 3, here's cassette number 2. It is the self-titled album. There we go. God Bless Your Ears.
Love that story.
Yeah. My mom bought this for me my 14th birthday. The cashier said this to her when she goes, "Who's this album for?" "It's for my son. God bless your ears." At the Gallery of Sound in Edwardsville, Pennsylvania. Still 2 locations in Wilkes-Barre and Dixon City. Love the Gallery of Sound for over 40 years. But I love this album for, going on 40 years now. I mean, you always have a love for your first, and I Want to Be Somebody was the first song I heard by W.A.S.P. But to this day, I can listen to The Flame, I can listen to School Days, I can listen to Sleeping in a Fire, and still have that same feeling that I did when I got this when I was 14 years old. I think this is a killer record. There's all killer, no filler here. I mean, this is fantastic. I love Torture Never Stops, Tormentor. I don't even know it'd be hard to pick my least favorite on here. Maybe Bad, but even that song is a great chorus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So my number 2 and 1, it's been the same forever. And I think this is when W.A.S.P. made their first real artistic statement, and that's on The Headless Children. And this is an album that I've told a story how I'd wake up to this album every morning when I was a senior in high school. I still get that same joy when I listen to this album. Favorite songs, I think that first half of this album is the best first half of music they ever did.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, even though there is a cover of The Real Me in here, but my love for that song, for this version, is never ending. I love their version. I love the title track. I love the opener, The Heretic, and Thunderhead is spectacular. But the rest of the album's very strong too. I mean, of course, Forever Free, Mean Man, the Ode to Chris Holmes, and Neutron Bomber, even Rebel in the FDG I like quite a bit. Yeah, Maneater. So yeah, that's my number 2. We already know where number 1's gonna be, don't we? The Crimson Idol, of course.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Eldorado again.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go back to Eldorado. I love it. Don't Cry, Just Suck. It's all about that. It's all about that and the Cocaine Cowboys for me.
That's right.
That's right. But yeah, it's definitely Crimson Idol. I mean, this is an amazing record. I mean, visible. So I mean, again, this was a leap forward from Headless Children, which was already a strong artistic statement. Fantastic album. They still do a lot of songs from this live. My Chainsaw Charlie, Murders in a Rue Morgue may be my favorite song by W.A.S.P, but I love Invisible Boy. I love I Am One, The Idol. So much on here that I love. The Great Misconceptions of Me, there's an epic and a half that, just takes you in, doesn't let you go for the
Yep.
whole time. Dr. Rocker, I mean, this whole album is killer.
Yep.
Probably, like, you talk to me 10 years from now, it'll either be this or Headless Children. They're still really close. Headless Children's very close for me.
Okay.
But yeah, number one is Crimson Idol.
Okay.
No doubt.
All right. Well, here we go. So you're probably going to see some of the, well, maybe a little bit of some.
Yeah.
My number 5 is actually going to be Headless Children.
Oh, okay.
And the reason being is that first half is great. But for whatever reason, it after like Maneater and Rebel in the FTG just kind of trail off a little bit for me. And even, I mean, Neutron Bomber's got that. I like that as well. Yeah, that good machine gun fire thing. I don't know if I never hear Mean Man again, I'm okay. But I mean, even so, I mean, they're still all great songs. But the Heretic just blows me away every time I listen to it. Headless Children, the title track, blows me away every time I listen to it. I love the beauty of Forever Free. I even love the little Mephisto waltz, acoustic thing. I know I went on record saying if I never heard the real me again, I would be okay. But I think I've softened on that. And I'm like, no, that's it. Really is. Blackie really has made that kind of his own statement. And so Thunderhead still blows me away. So there's still a lot to love on Headless Children. So that's my number 5. Our number 4s are the same.
Okay.
Gosh, from the Slithery Shadow Man to Revengeance, Hallowed Ground, Trail of I mean, enough said. Solid album. My number 3 might surprise everybody, might anger a few people. Is actually Golgotha.
Okay.
I've always loved the album so much. I Scream took me in. Last Runaway kind of had that Happy Blackie sound feel. I loved the story in Shotgun, and I loved Doug's playing in that. I love the Ballad of Miss You. Fallen Under was a great track. Slaves of the New World Order, Eyes of My Maker, Hero of the World, all of those are great tracks. But my God, to hear Blackie singing Jesus, I Need You Now on the title track just sent chills down my spine. It sent tears to my eyes. And it just, to me, that just holds such a special place in my heart. And so I'm very proud to say I love this album very, very much. So this is my number 3. My number 2 is the debut.
Okay.
I know this might surprise everybody since I put Last Command and Inside the Electric Circus down so low, but it's like I've said on Peter Kerr's channel, Rock Daydream Nation, when we did our five favorite songs from this album, and it was like saying I had 10 kids and I had to pick my favorite.
Yeah.
No, this album has aged well. The topics, I think, are very intelligent for what this album brought, and it's just intense. It was this danger, and yes, I feel the same way when I was that 15-year-old kid sitting in my buddy Dave's house with my friend Mike, and the three of us were listening to this, and this album came, and we put this. This isn't my original cassette. Unfortunately, I bought this at my local store here in town, CSEC Records. But when it came time to listen to that, and we were all just like, oh my gosh, what are we listening to? And I was sucked right in, and that's how it's always been for me. So gosh, there is no favorite track to pick from. The whole freaking album is just that good. Whether it's I Want to Be Somebody, whether it's Hellion, whether it's Sleeping in the Fire, Torture Never Stops, Tormentor, On Your Knees, Love Machine, BAD, The Flame, School Days. I think I listened to every song. Anyway, it's great. I love it. I think my favorite, it must be Crimson Isle. It's got to be my top. Of course, my version here with the Blackie signature, but again, Blackie calls it his best, his favorite. I related to the story a little bit. The songs take you in. You get sucked into the idol, you get sucked into the misconceptions, you get sucked into Hold On to My Heart, Invisible Boy, the gypsy meets the boy, everything. Just, it's a wonderful story. It's a deep story. And yes, you just can't go wrong with this one. I absolutely adore it. Not to say I don't love Reidolized, I do, but you just can't beat the original.
Yeah.
And so there you go. Shots fired, nuclear bombs set off, perhaps. So
there were a few albums that were a little different on, but mostly we were pretty consistent. You're a lot higher on Golgotha than I am. I'm a lot higher on Neon Guard Part 1 than you are. But all told, we're similar here.
Pretty similar.
Especially on most of the bottom five. I mean, I think we were pretty close.
Yeah. And I think for me, I think the Neon Gods, if I spend more time with those, I actually kind of I could see that kind of teetering up a little bit, because I really try to treat that as one whole thing.
Right.
And so, but there's just so much to investigate, so much to dig into. So yeah, so we got so there you go. There is our ranking. W.A.S.P Nation, Hellions. I can't wait to hear what you all think about this one.
Absolutely.
and I want to hear, and I don't know if I want to see just a top five, because I have a feeling I'm probably going to see a lot of top fives, because not everybody's going to have all of the catalog, perhaps. But let's hear it. Let's hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. We have got a couple special shows that we're going to keep doing with W.A.S.P. That'll last us into probably into July a little bit, but then that's probably going to be it. And we're gonna reconvene with another catalog. So by that point, W.A.S.P Wednesday will come to an end. As sad as that is to admit, but that doesn't mean you're going to get. That's not the last you're going to see of us two. You're going to be getting a lot of good stuff coming up in the future, and I really look forward to getting into this stuff. It's going to be fantastic. So now, John, I know you were throwing some little spoiler alerts as far as stuff we can expect you on in the coming days. So what can we look forward to?
Okay, as we are doing this show today, the show on the Contrarians for the Judas Priest Jugular album dropped, and so you'll be able to check that out. I'm part of the panel on that. Peter Kerr and I did a show on Rock Daydream Nation that dropped today as we're filming this. On our we made a mixtape for the wonderful, legendary punk band from the UK called the Buzzcocks, a band that deserves a lot more love here in the States, in my humble opinion. I think as great as the Ramones were, these guys were just as influential, in my opinion. But that one, definitely check that out. John and we're filming a show this coming Friday on the Bicycle Legs channel, and we're going to talk about our favorite cover versions, part 2. So that will be a gas. We already told each other what we're going to say, but
we ain't going to tell you.
We're not going to tell you. But and then next week, we're gonna do another show here on My Music Corner. I don't know exactly where to go, but we got some ideas. We're not sure what direction we're to go. I got a couple shows coming up on Grants Rock Warehouse, and one is going to be our top 5 favorite blues artists and an album by each. And here's something I haven't told John yet, so this will be the first to hear it is. Just to let you know, Grant and I are going to do a show about the band Delight.
Okay, rock and roll.
Delight are best known for their song Groove is in the Heart.
Okay.
So we're going to talk dance music.
All right.
They have a 3-album catalog. I said to Grant, because Grant, God bless him, he is fantastic. His thing is, who's talking about this band? We are. Who's talking about that band? We are. I go, let's talk about Delight. He goes, I love it. I have all 3 albums. I'm like, you're the man, Grant.
Nice. Okay.
So we're doing that bad boy next week. I don't know if it's going to be live. We like to do a lot of live stuff on there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But right, man. I was just part of a panel where we picked our top 5 underrated epics.
Ooh,
Hard
yes.
rock and heavy metal, and that is also on Rock Daydream Nation. So I think that should be dropping in the next few days. That one, it's Peter Kerr, Reed Little, Peter C. Jones, and myself. So check that out once it drops.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, that sounds like it. All right. So for me, the 2 shows I just did are in the can. We've on Grants Rock Warehouse. We finally finished April Wine, and we did our ranking of their catalog, their 16 album catalog. So it's me, Tim Derling from Tim's Vinyl Confessions, another wonderful channel for all of y'all to check out, especially if you love 8-tracks. Tim's has a great thing about 8-tracks. And so he's always one to check into. And another fellow named Dave Lubin, wonderful guy, big time April Wine fan. So that show went rather long. So we were hoping that this one would not go that long. So we filmed that. I don't know when that is dropping. I did on Rock Daydream Nation with Peter Kerr. You notice that name comes up a lot. We like both him and Grant very, very much. And Bicycle Legs. So as far as Peter's, he and I just did a rock postcards. So he gets an American band for me. He sends me an Australian band. So that was a lot of fun. We finally got to do that episode. As far as anything that's in the works, as John alluded to, we are doing the cover versions part 2. Part 1 was a blast, and so Bicycle Legs liked it so much he wanted to do part 2. So I'm like, all right, I'm all in. And other than that, I've got I know there's another rock postcards that we're planning ahead with Peter Kerr. At some point, we are also going to. He has a series called "In Defense of," and we are going to be tackling Raven's Pack Is Back. Don't know when that show is yet, but we are planning on looking at that album as well. And then I just got to talk to my North and South Rock and Metal Connection guys and see when we want to do something again. But right now, I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned. So life has been kind of happening with me a little bit lately. A lot of work stuff, a lot of personal family stuff. So with the family stuff, there were some folks who commented the last time I mentioned my great nephew Sammy. And I just want to say, praise God, we had some wonderful news this week. So please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, whatever kind of thing you do. But I personally, I'm more of a thoughts and prayers kind of guy. I know that doesn't really set well with some people, but that's just how I am and who I am as a person. So keep them coming. My family appreciates that. And we certainly appreciate the kind words you have said. So that's really all that I've got, because I don't have anything planned with anybody else after that. So, but there's so many great channels to check out. The Contrarians comes up a lot. We do a lot. We've done stuff with them a lot over the years, or over the last year or so. Even though he's not doing a whole lot of material right now, Ryan Gavalier, Ryan's Final Destination. He still has a lot of great content to check out. Tyler Hagopian from LP Tremors. He's been doing an Iron Maiden series that I think has gotten stalled a little bit, but he still has great content. There's so many other people that I'm sure I could list. But whatever you guys do, we appreciate you guys taking the time to watch us talk about W.A.S.P. And we hope you've enjoyed all of this. Please, again, let us know how you rank the catalog in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe. And we will be back with at least a couple more episodes for W.A.S.P. Wednesday. But until then, we will see you very soon. Thank you all for watching. Stay heavy. We appreciate the views, and we appreciate your kind comments and everything. Thank you so much. We will talk to you soon.
Stay positive. I'll see you soon. We'll see you soon.
Rock and roll.